control he has personally over that, so that's my concern with that.
Totally understand. That's a discussion between USADA and the Nevada Athletic Commission.
And also the California State Athletic Commission, who's currently overseeing the VADA testing. So right now there's VADA testing that's being controlled by California. There's USADA testing being controlled by USADA, and then of course the Nevada testing that's you mentioned as well. So Mr. Jones can't control the reporting of any of those results.
Understood.
Okay. And also, just one other point, Mr. Jones cannot control whether or not he's tested twice a month or 10 times a month. It's not up to him to come and to get tested. So that's the other concern that I simply raise, in that he's happy to agree to whatever conditions you make him agree to, provided that's actually the other people involved and make sure that works.
I got it.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that. Between now and March the 2nd is 1 month and a couple of days. So we will test him at our frequency at what we determine for the next 40 days. And that would give me even a higher degree, not that I don't have a high degree of confidence in USADA and VADA, but that'll make it really simple to remove those issues.
That's appreciated, Mr. Chairman. That's the simplest way to move forward.
That would be the way to craft a motion. It would be, it's a one-fight license, and for the next 40 days, he's going to be under Nevada Athletic Commission testing at least 2 times this month, up to maybe more. And I would venture to say it's going to be more. Then I think at that point, that will give us at least a month to work with USADA and VADA and understand if there's a way for us to cooperate as agencies on how we can move forward. And I'm highly confident that we can have that discussion with USADA, the UFC, and remove your client from being the issue and let the agencies work out their differences on how we communicate. I'm just making it clear to you, and you have a lot of influence over the UFC and USADA, that going forward, Mr. Jones is going to have to make it a requirement that those agencies report to Nevada. It's not up to the agency's discretion. And I ask that they please don't test how broad I think my jurisdiction is in the state of Nevada. Just cooperate and give me the information, and I'll have that discussion offline. But he needs to also support that request.
He's fully supportive of that. To the extent that we can influence that, we're happy to.
Fair. Okay, so that simplifies the motion. It's a one-fight license. He'll be heavily tested with the frequency we've discussed up until March the 2nd. And by then, Executive Director Bennett, you will have to determine with USADA, if you can, by our February meeting, how we're going to work as cooperating agencies as it pertains to this particular issue. And maybe we can report back in February, which would be prior to the fight. And then I would also include in the motion that these tests, it's probably not going to be more than 6, are going to be paid for by the applicant.
Post by?
No, up to March the 2nd.
Correct, but post by, as far as the motion goes, post by, still our intent to test all the way through 2019 and at a frequency less than twice a day.
It would be. And if we can find a resolution with USADA, as they're already administering these tests, then I would be, we can talk about it in February as to making this an agenda item of an agreement on how the frequency is going to happen. And Mr. Nowitzki, I'm sure you can help that discussion. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So we'll get through that in February.
Yeah, and I think that just to state the obvious, whether assuming it's Smyrtle or USADA that's executing our testing, is that it's identical to how Executive Director Bennett requested the December 9th results to be expedited, because we don't have a month time frame, right? Good. So every test has to be expedited in the same way that we requested.
That's all on us at this point.
Okay.
We will control that and run those tests and control the expedition of those tests.
Okay.
He may be subject to other tests, and hopefully they disclose them at the pace they have been, or faster. But we will be doing that if we choose to go down this path. I think we've exhausted it. If you guys are all, if that's a path everybody would like to take. All right, then I'll look for a motion on that.
Move approval.
Okay, so moving for approval for a one-fight license, Nevada Athletic Commission testing, paid for by the applicant, up to the March 2nd event. Is that agreeable?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, motion passes unanimously. Okay. Mr. Jones, I appreciate you being here today. Appreciate you coming here to testify. Welcome back to the state of Nevada. If you recall, a long time ago, you and I had a conversation in your locker room when you came back to Nevada. I will reiterate what Coach said. Coach, Commissioner Alt, we call him Coach. This is on you. It's on your shoulders. I like what I hear, I like what I see, but the proof's in the pudding. So I'm happy that you're back here. You'll always be treated with respect here. I wanted to make sure that you understood that today. Welcome back to Nevada, and do the right thing from this point going forward. And as you know, we're going to be visiting you frequently. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Lastly, oh, let's drag this out for another 20 minutes. Is there any public comment in the room? Any public comment on the phone?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Is there any public comment on the phone? Okay, and hearing none, the chairman report, I have none at this time. Item I, matters for future agendas. There's two things, Executive Director Bennett, and in order of priority on the February agenda, I would like yourself to come back to us with a recommendation and understanding with USADA and the UFC on what the frequency of John Jones testing is going to be and the reporting of those results for the calendar year of 2019. And the second thing would be, if you could pick a date in the near future and discuss with the Deputy Attorney General on if we need to look at altering the regulation, which as we know is a lengthy process, or if we need to or can issue a guidance memo as it pertains to the verbal code of conduct from all unarmed combatants. I would like to first understand the legal process in which we can move through that, and then that would guide where I think we want to go with that. But I'm very open to looking deeper into these code of conducts that are currently being carried by these promoters as well as our own, and trying to tone the rhetoric down, especially as it pertains to race and religion and sex. I think it's inappropriate. I've had enough of it and I really don't want to hear it anymore. So I'd like to, and we're going to have to involve the fight community and everybody on that, but it's time to temper that. So when we need to adjust with the times, and that's what we do. Are there any other comments from any other commissioners?
I have one for a future agenda. We'll reach out. Can we expect to have Dylan Dennis on our agenda for February?
Mike Denver from the Attorney General's office, for the record, is anticipated that we can go forward on the February commission date. That is the intention.
Okay. It'd be great to resolve all matters from October 2018 to move forward.
Okay, I look for a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Great, motion passed unanimously. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Sure. Oh, it's just the agenda.
John, comment on how you feel
You're gonna bring it back here. You want to go here where there's like more space and stuff? Yeah. Right here? Yeah.
Put my here, Mark, I mean, I'll put my here.
Yeah, right. We'll just put them like right here, basically.
You want to bring up, let's bring up Commissioner Bennett here first.
Sure.
Commissioner Bennett.